Compass FM. Joining me in the studio for the final time of the year, the Mayor of all regions, in particular the Waimakariri, Dan Gordon. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
I'm very good, Kerry. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's the last week. It's been exhausting in 2022 for a vast majority of people. We're all pretty tired. I'm looking forward to Friday, I must admit. When's your last day, Dan?
Well, I'll be doing something on Christmas Day. I'm going to go down and do the Christmas lunch, help serve that in Kaipoi, but pretty much Friday, and then looking forward to a break, and there'll be things that'll be going on, and just looking forward to getting out and spending Christmas and the Christmas break in the Waimakariri. Great place to be.
Oh, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful and green out there.
It is. It's very wet today, crikey, so people just keep safe out there on our roads and things, but our farmers will certainly be welcoming this drop.
Absolutely. Now, as far as the council is concerned, 2022 has been an interesting year from our little chats that we've had since January this year. Can you give us a bit of a reflection on what you thought or what you think the region, our region, Waimakariri, has gone through in 2022? The highs, maybe the lows?
All things reform have been absorbed a fairly major part of our work, but mid this year we unfortunately our chief executive had to move on, and owing to health, so that was a fairly big challenge, but I'm really grateful that our acting chief executive Jeff Millwood has stepped in there. So the coming year we'll be going into the recruitment for a new CE. But look, I'm really grateful that the council by and large was re-elected, and we got a fairly strong message from the community that we were heading in the right direction. I think our challenges next year will be maintaining our rates at the level we'd indicated. We're in a high inflationary environment now, and our economic modelling that's coming out, and what we're seeing is that things will be a bit of a challenge. So as a council, we're going to have to do a lot to try and contain that, and make sure that we still keep delivering, because we don't want to fall behind. Because I think weather events and other things like we're experiencing today do demonstrate that if you fall behind, then you've got a lot of work to do to catch up, and drainage and road maintenance and those things are fairly critical to a district like ours, that we're a growing district. So we've got all those challenges of growth amongst it. But the one thing that I really take a lot of heart of is our amazing community, and I'm seeing a huge amount of it over this Christmas period as they come out to parades and other things, and people are just enjoying the somewhat return to normality, and we're able to, albeit that there is COVID in our community again, but there's a better way of managing that now, and it's something we've come to sort of get used to and adapt to. So we've got a lot to feel grateful for as we come into Christmas, but we've got a lot to be real about as we come into the new year, and I'm looking forward to those challenges and working with the council and our community to do the best that we can to deliver on everyone's behalf.
What do you think is going to be one of the big things for next year if we take away local body reform and Three Waters? If we take it, because they're two big ones and we've been talking about them all this year, what do you think is 2023 apart from those two?
Well, I think, as I said, I think maintaining our current program will be a big challenge, particularly in a high inflationary environment, clearly, and I think that'll be a challenge for all of us, actually, including the community, who will have to balance their own books and their own finances. So making sure that we don't get out of step with affordability for people will be really important for us, and us all to manage together. Like my mortgage is currently fixed. March is the date. I have to say I'm a little nervous about that and what that means, and I think that's the environment we're all in at the moment, and how we're going to manage that. So it's very real for households as much as it is for council, and to make sure that we work on that together and understand that together, and then come up with a plan that works is something that will be a big focus for us.
Dan, this year it was mentioned that there may be some request for funding from Waimakariri and Selwyn for the new stadium in Christchurch City. Has that progressed in any way, shape or form?
No, and we haven't had Phil and I give each other a hard time about it all the time, and that's just part and parcel of it. We haven't had a formal request, and as I've made clear that really it's not really something I don't think our community will be strongly in favour of. But look, we'll ask our community, and that's the anecdotal feedback I get, but we'll ask our community if we're formally requested, and then that'll be something that will be part of our long-term plan, and then we'll know, and we'll be able to reflect that back to Christchurch.
I'm full of weird ideas, Dan. I think we both know that. One of my thing,
they don't normally come out on air though; they're normally off air.
Every day, Dan, every day. One of the things that just it seems to, if we're going to get a stadium, and look, this is just my idea. If we're going to get a stadium, and we being Waimakariri going to be asked to help contribute to it, then surely you'll be able to say, "Hey Phil, how about putting a zip line in from one corner to the other, and use the stadium every day for tourism and other bits and pieces?" Because anyway, that's just
a zip line, crikey. Look, I think I'm totally for there being a stadium in Christchurch, and yes, there will be a broader benefit for us all. But equally, we have built assets here that are benefiting the greater Christchurch and the Hiranui and all our areas like our stadium, and we've been happy to get on and do that. But it's costing us. It's about $100 per ratepayer per year for our stadium, and we've got a 25-year loan on that. So plus the earthquake recovery, we're more than paying our fair share for the work that we've had to do here, and we've not asked anyone else for contributions. So hey, look, we're prepared to have a mature conversation about it. And we will. We contribute to Canterbury Museum. That's where there's a legislative contribution locked in there, and yes, there are benefits for our district and for Canterbury in that. But yet to have that conversation about the stadium, and it will be polarising when that does happen.
Dan, your final thoughts for 2022?
Look, I think we've just had a huge year. Look, I think we've said that every year. It's been difficult. I guess my final thoughts is that grateful for where we're at, and grateful to and hugely humbled to represent this amazing community as I get the opportunity to do and my council colleagues do. I guess my final message is to everyone, take this opportunity to reflect on the year, have yourself a good break, do get rested because next year we'll be busy, and looking forward to working for you and our community next year, but also just take that opportunity to have that time with your friends and family and rest and relax, reflect on the great year we've had and look forward to the year ahead, and also be grateful that we have a great radio station like Compass FM and great announcers that finally remember what name your district is in Waimakariri. So that's my wish for Christmas, Father Christmas and others, is that Kerry remembers which district Murray and I represent. But no, in all seriousness, Kerry, can I say thanks to you and the radio station? I think you do a fabulous job here, and we're really lucky to have your support at all our community events and all the things that you do. I constantly get that back from people to say that we're lucky to have a local radio station, so thank you. I hope you guys you and the family get an opportunity to have a good break over that period too.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it, and on behalf of all the staff here at Compass, thank you for the support that and the information. It's a sharing of information and working together. That's what makes local. That's what makes community. We do things here in North Canterbury that other don't want to do, and we just absolutely love doing it. So on a personal note, Dan, you and I have been chatting every week pretty much all through this year. You've had some tragedy in your life this year as well, so acknowledging that and the fact that you picked yourself up and you carried on working. Well done to you, mate.
Thank you.
And bless your family and have a really, really good Christmas. We'll see you late in January.
So something like that. Whatever's booked in, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, the old PA. You have to rely on the old PA. Rosie. Merry Christmas, Rosie, if you listen.
My amazing EA, Rosie, who we just can't be without. She does a fantastic job. But to all that support us out there, hope they have a good Christmas too. But thanks for those kind words, Kerry.
No worries at all. Dan, well done.
Compass FM.